Hello guys, I'm Caro and welcome to my first book review ever. I decided to talk about one of my favorite books of all times, which is A Town Like Alice by English author Nevil Shute. It was published in 1950. It's a very unique and interesting story, which is not that well known. I want to encourage people to read it again. I've always loved Australia, ever since I was little and I saw The Man from Snowy River. And then I found out about All Rivers Run, and I got the novel The Thornbirds. I have this love for family sagas that happen in Australia. I read it without knowing what to expect, and I was really surprised. It's based on true events. It's the story about this woman called Jean Paget. She's all alone in the world. She's a typist living in London right after World War II. And the book begins when she receives an inheritance from an uncle. The solicitor or lawyer who is taking care of her money becomes her friend and narrates the story. The first thing that Jean decides to do with her money is to go to Malaya, where she lived while World War II was happening, and go visit this little village in the middle of the jungle and build a water hole. The lawyer is startled because of what she wants to do, so Jean tells him her experience in World War II, where she was a prisoner of war to the Japanese. Anyways, after she builds this water hole for the villagers, Jean decides to fly out to Australia. She ends up in this village called Willstown. With the money that she has, she decides for various reasons, both personal and professional, to make Willstown a town like Alice. Alice being Alice Springs, which today is this city in the middle of Australia, but back in the 40s and 50s was this rapidly growing, thriving town. Basically, the first thing is the protagonist. Jean Paget is an amazing woman. She's strong, she's independent, she has nobody else in the world to look after her. She has gumption. When you think about World War II, and when I imagine what happened in the Pacific, I think of Pearl Harbor, of course, and of the Burma Railway. But I'd never thought or imagined what had happened to the women who were living in the Pacific Islands when the Japanese invaded them. What basically happens in the story is that Jean and a group of about 30 women with their children are separated from the men because the men will be sent to prison camps, but the Japanese don't really want to take care of the women and children in their prison camps. They don't want to feed them, they don't want to take care of them if they get sick, so they just send the woman walking all through Malaya. They say, if you go here, there will be a prison camp waiting for you. So the women walk all the way to that place, and there's no prison camp. That happens to them throughout months, and a lot of them start to die, and it's nerve-wracking to read about what they had to endure. 5 out of 5 stars for several reasons. Even though it's not 100% historically accurate, Jean, the protagonist, it's a real inspiration. She is a born leader, an entrepreneur. You like her, really. You get a lot of insight about living in the Australian outback, and basically because I learned about an aspect of World War II which I'd never heard about, and since I love history, that was really fulfilling for me. And that's it for my first book review ever. There are 2 movie adaptations of this book, and I'm going to do a movie review about them, and I'll post the link below, as well as the link to the Goodreads page for A Town Like Alice. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope that you give A Town Like Alice a try. Let me know what you thought. If you want to read it, or if you've read it and don't agree with me in something, just let me know. Thank you so much.